Before you get started on your outer space drawing, I want you to practice and then bring it up to me for a grade. So there's a little half sheet of black paper. We're going to do our work with a white color pencil. I want you to notice that for the white color pencil, if you use a higher quality pencil, like a Prismacolor, you will get a much more vibrant tone on your black paper compared to a lower quality pencil. So seek me out to get the more expensive colored pencils. First off, we're going to go ahead and make a value scale. I want it to have 5 sections. It should be almost as long as this piece of paper. For that first box, I pressed really hard. That's how you're going to get the brightest white on the paper. Now each time we're going to vary our pressure, you can leave the last box blank. That's your pure black value. Notice when I'm shading, I'm changing the direction of my pencil. I'm looking for a really smooth value in this box. I don't want to see your pencil scribbles. For some of you, that might be more successful if you do small circular motions instead of this left-right scribble. Now that you've created a whole value scale, I want you to start really thinking about the fact that to create our light value this time, you're adding the medium to the paper. Compared to when you use an ebony pencil and you draw on white paper, your light value is the paper. Let's move on and try doing a shape. Pick a shape, one of the basic shapes, please. I prefer to do a curving shape so a cone, cylinder, sphere, because we need to think about our blending now. So choose one of the round shapes. I chose the cone. Where's your light source coming from? You don't have to draw an arrow, but for me, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my lights. The sun, the flashlight, whatever is shining from this direction. So where do I put the white colored pencil? It needs to be on the light side. This is a way of thinking opposite. Compared to what you learn to do with a regular pencil, we do the opposite now. Where I need it to be light, I have to put my colored pencil on this paper, and I need to press hard to get that bright value. One other thing you're going to have to work on is your blending. If you need to practice before you start your real project, you're going to have to do more than one shape. We can't blend with our finger or a blending stick when we use colored pencil. This medium does not move on the paper the way a graphite or a charcoal does. It's wax, so it stays put. Also, notice it's best if you don't go too heavy too fast. You can go back and add more white color pencil, but you cannot take it away. So start lightly as you work on shapes or even on that value scale. Start lightly and then go back and put more white onto this paper where you need it to be brighter. Next question, what about a cast shadow? Well, my light's coming from this direction. I should have a shadow on the ground going over here, but how do I show that with a white pencil? You can't. The darkest thing is your paper this time. So what we're going to do is color around it. I'm going to go ahead and very lightly indicate where I think my cast shadow should be. And then I'm going to work around that to let that black paper stand out separately. I want you to try one more shape. So this is a basic shape. Give me something really random, because in your outer space drawing, you need to have some very random type of shapes. Again, I think your challenge is in the curving shapes, so come up with something kind of unique and odd and see if you could shade that. I'm going to give this blobby thing a hole, just for kicks. I'm going to stick with the same light source, and I want it to feel round, so I'm going to go ahead and shade it almost like this is a cylinder and this is a cylinder. Sometimes you just have to guess. You're making this up. This does not exist in real life, and we aren't in outer space either, so do the best you can. Last, before you go ahead and start your real project, we will be adding a final touch on the outer space project with some stars in the background. Just take some of your negative space around here and practice that. Stars are found in clusters. Stars also don't look like big polka dots. No. So try doing little clusters where you place your pencil on the table and just wiggle it. Another thing I'll do is add a little cross, almost like a T. When mixed in there, it sort of looks like a star shining bright. So play around with stars for a second before you screw up a whole project. And again, I did a wiggle like a cross. And we just do clusters. Keep it really random. This looks like a planet, doesn't it? No, it's Saturn. When you're done with this, go ahead and bring it up for a grade. Requirements for this project. One of them is to include a value scale somewhere, almost like a ribbon moving through the page. This will kind of look like a galaxy flow, I don't know, but I want to see it. I recommend a blended value scale from dark to light. However, if you would like to break that into a segmented thing or a zigzag, you may do that. So give me a strip somewhere. Then you need to fill the page with some kind of standard shapes, like you would think about our basic shapes that we know how to draw, something more geometric. So I'm going to work on something like adding a pyramid in. Cubes, rectangles, any of those forms are also good. Draw really lightly. We don't want big, heavy outlines. If you want to start this part in pencil really lightly and then kind of get into it with the color pencil, that's also a really good idea. I just thought it'd be too hard for you to see on the screen. Toss these things around different directions. It's supposed to look like they're floating through outer space, so I'm not doing them like they're standing on a table. I've got them laying all different directions. I also want you to think about overlapping. What's in front and what is behind? I've got 1, 2, 3 geometric shapes. I'd like to see you add 3 shapes that are more organic in nature, meaning they're kind of blobby, kind of like one of the ones we practiced. And I mentioned already, think about overlapping. Have some stuff going behind. So I'm gonna have another blobby shape. And it's going behind this one. And behind that pyramid. I've got another one behind even that I was just getting started on. Fill up the page. Think about maybe having something going off the page. I could have cropped that going off the edge. That gives good depth to a picture. Maybe you want to add something that actually looks like a planet. Go ahead and do that. Again, thinking about some overlapping in here. Once you've laid this out, now this could work in any direction, remember, it's outer space. It shouldn't look like anything is floating, or excuse me, it shouldn't look like anything is sitting on a tabletop, and this picture only works one way, so have that in the back of your mind. Now in every shape I want to see you show me that shading. You need to pick a light source. The sun is somewhere out here in outer space, or whatever star is light this direction, so choose that. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think my light is coming from this upper corner coming in this way. So that's going to inform my decision. I'll say that again. That is going to inform my decision on every shape. Where is the light hitting it? The light is hitting it here on this shape. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in bright white on that side. In fact, this might be a good way to start. Go define all your light sides. This is going to be light. This is going to catch the light. Over here, this is going to catch the light. This blob here is going to be getting it from this direction and then here. So figure that out for a minute before you get going. Now with those decisions made, you're ready to just get to work, shading each of your shapes to show them as three-dimensional objects floating in outer space with a dark side and a light side. You may actually work in any technique, as you'll see in the example. I didn't teach you all these techniques, but as an artist, if you feel like, oh gosh, I'm really good at, let's say, hatching or cross-hatching, I can work this shape using a hatching technique. That's okay with me, as long as you show me good value. Or you can work in perfect blending or little circles. I want good value and good blending. Don't forget, final part of this project, once everything is shaded, you're going to add those little star clusters to make it feel like outer space in the background. On the value scale, you can decide, it doesn't really work with the whole light source thing, but I wanted it in there for an element of design. Choose where you want the dark side and where you want the light side. I think I'll have the light down here as if that ribbon is catching the light coming this direction.